Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be talking about the transit of Mars into the sign of Gemini for all 12 ascendant signs. On 13th of March 2023, Mars has come out of the sign of Taurus and has entered the sign of Gemini. Gemini is the third house of the natural zodiac. It is the third sign of the natural zodiac. When you talk about the third house energy, it is all about our efforts, our action, our bravery, courage, our ability to take any action, to start a new work. And when you talk about the sign Gemini, that is putting our thoughts into action, our social communication, how we interact with the people in our daily life. Now the moment Mars enters into the sign of Gemini, it is like we can now put our thoughts into action. Mars is that energy, and Gemini is the sign which deals with communication. That means now we are able to put our thoughts into reality, into real shape. So this is a wonderful time to start any new work. Like suppose any project you are thinking to start upon, or any project which you are working but you are not getting the desired result only because you are not able to put the correct thing in your path. This is a time when you will be finding that yes, now you are able to put your ideas, your thinking process into reality, into your work. So this transit of Mars is a very welcome transit, because when we look at the natural zodiac, Mars is the lord of the first house. It is the ascendant lord of the natural zodiac, and Gemini is the third house. So the ascendant lord of the natural zodiac, Mars, is coming into the third house of efforts, bravery and courage. It's a wonderful transit, I will say. Yes, definitely. One particular thing I will add here is that Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mars takes Mercury as inimical planet. So by that rule, Gemini is a inimical sign for Mars. But still I will say that this transit of Mars is a good transit, because it will give you the proper energy and effort to put your thoughts into action and ultimately get good results in your life. But definitely this particular idea of this transit will be different for every one of us, depending upon our horoscope, depending upon the ascendant sign or the moon sign. Check the transit from your moon sign also, because it will give you the idea regarding how the transit is going to give you results in terms of your emotional level. Okay, means how it is going to impact your mind, your emotion. Okay, but first you should check it from your ascendant sign, because that will give you the idea that how is it going to give you the results, or how the results are getting manifested in the reality, in the real life. Okay, so in that way this particular transit can be checked upon. One more thing I will say here is that suppose if you are associated with anything related to communication or social networking or writing, reading, or suppose if you are associated with journalism, or you are a speaker, you are an orator, even if you are a student or a teacher, this particular transit is a get to go transit for all of you, because this is going to give you a new source of energy, enthusiasm and a positive outlook towards your life, and you will feel that yes, now you are able to put your energy in a right path. Here one more thing I will add. In fact, I will add two things. First thing is that after Gemini comes the sign of Cancer. In the sign of Cancer, Mars debilitates. So now in the sign of Gemini, that can be also one more reason. In fact, that is also one more reason why Mars does not feel that much great in the sign of Gemini. Okay, so there can be an associated anxiety or frustration between the people with whom we communicate in our daily life. That can be a possibility, where I will say that suppose if any anxiety is there, or suppose if any chance of argument is there, try to deal with it logically. That will give you much more better results, because Gemini is also ruled by Mercury. So more we think about it, we are going to get more solutions towards it. Okay, so that is one more thing. Second thing I will say here is that Mercury, as I am making this video, Mercury has entered the sign of Pisces. Mercury has turned debilitated. Now Mercury rules the sign of Gemini. So for the next 15 days, I will say it is going to be very important transit for Mercury and Mars both. during this particular 15 days, means starting from today onwards, next 15 days I will say, we should be very careful regarding how you communicate with the people depending upon where the sign Gemini lies in our horoscope. Like suppose if Gemini lies in your 10th house, then how you are communicating with your co-workers or at your office environment will be very important, or how you are dealing with your boss, that will be very important. Make sure that you don't go into such kind of conversations which are not good for you, or which may lead to some kind of arguments or conflict of interest. Okay, because Mars is that fierce planet, it is a very fiery planet. Okay, so the communication can be at times very fiery, so we can use it in our own benefit, we can use it in order to make things done, because this fiery energy can give us that positive outlook, that energy to put forward our ideas into reality. Okay, but we should not go into any kind of arguments or some kind of disputes which will actually take our energy into some wrong path. In fact, we can channelize our energy in some right path, that will give us much more better results. Okay, so now we will talk about all the 12 ascendant signs, and if you are new to this channel, I request every one of you, please tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. And this particular transit will be till 10th of May 2023. So I will say you that it is around 58 days of transit. 58 days of transit means almost 2 months. Normally the transit of Mars happens to be of around 45 to 46 days, but this is a bit longer one. Okay, so we should be very careful regarding this, that we should not go into any kind of arguments or disputes, because if we go into that particular way of life, then it will be a longer one, because 58 days is quite I will say quite lengthy than the usual transit of Mars. Okay, but we can also use this transit to our benefit. The choice is ours. Okay, now I will also say that if you want to check this particular transit with respect to your personalized horoscope, or if you want to have a consultation from me, check the links in the description section. You can directly mail me through my email ID. You will find the email ID in my description section, or you can also get connected with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. So now let us start about all the 12 ascendant sign. I will request you to check it from your ascendant sign first, then check it from your moon sign. That will give you more clarity regarding how it is going to give you results in physical reality and at the emotional level. For the Aries ascendant people, Mars is the Lagna Lord. Mars is transiting in the sign of Gemini in the 3rd house. For the Aries people, this is going to be a very good transit, I will say, and I mean it, because 3rd house is basically the house of valor, efforts, actions. So this is a time when you will be able to start any kind of new work which you want to start. Your projects, your efforts will be will lead you to success. You will find that now new kind of ideas can be brought into your work. This can also make you at times very energetic. So you have to channelize your energy in your work rather than getting into any kind of arguments. Why? Because 3rd house, where Mars will be transiting, is also the house of social communication, the people which you meet in your daily contact. So try to avoid that kind of arguments and just channelize your energy into some right path. Next 15 days don't get into any kind of arguments, because I will say Mercury will be debilitated in your 12th house, so there is a considerable chance of miscommunication. Okay, so just try to avoid that part. Just make sure that you are putting your energy into right thing, because this transit of Mars is going to give you a very good results. I know Mars is in your 3rd house, and in the 4th house, when Mars enters your 4th house in the sign of Cancer, it will be debilitated. But now for the next 58 days, when Mars will be in your 3rd house, it is going to give you very good results. One more thing I will say you, that there can be a chance of short travels. Okay, any work you start during this time will give you very good results, or suppose any work you are doing, then also I will say that this transit of Mars is going to give you a new enthusiasm and energy in your work. And one more thing, Suppose if you are associated anything related to communication, reading, writing, or anything related to journalism, mass communication, then also this Mars is going to give you very good results. Yes, one specific thing I will add, that Mars is your 8th lord. 8th lord transiting in the 3rd house, so this can lead to some kind of miscommunication or arguments with your younger siblings. So I will also say you that during this particular time, if you take care of your younger siblings or how you interact with your friends, that will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Aries ascendant people. For the Taurus ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 2nd house. Mars rules your 12th house. Mars rules your 7th house. Okay, now first of all, transit of Mars in the 2nd house has to be taken care here, because since Mars is your 12th house transiting in the 2nd house, so first thing, the foremost thing is that you have to take care regarding your wealth management. It is a good thing that now Mars has come out of your 1st house. From last many months, Mars was transiting in your 1st house, which might had been creating some kind of health issues. Okay, but now this Mars has come out of your 1st house, which is a good thing, but now your concern should be completely towards your wealth management. You should not get into any kind of unnecessary expenditures. This is the first thing. Second thing is that 2nd house is also the house of family matters, your value system, your morals, okay, your family culture and tradition. At times it can make you very obsessed regarding your family values and family matter. Okay, means at time it can make you very dominant. Okay, that is a good thing, but don't allow that energy, that aggressive energy, come in your path between how you maintain your family matters, because that can lead into any kind of arguments or even some kind of disputes or fights. Okay, don't let into those kind of things. Second part here is that try to avoid saying anything which you should not say, because out of your that fierce impulsive nature, if you say something and later on you may feel that you shouldn't have said so. Okay, so this particular thing has to be taken care of. Another thing is that Mars, apart from your 12th lord, it is also your 7th lord. That means partnership, relationship. Okay, suppose if you are in any kind of business partnership, and if you are thinking of new kind of investment or any kind of thing related to that, I will say try to avoid it. Don't take any major decision, because what I am seeing, that your 7th lord transiting in the 2nd house, but 2nd house is the inimical sign of Mars. So what will happen, any decision regarding your business partnership can lead to some kind of unnecessary expenditure, or suppose if you are thinking to make some investment decisions, that can lead to some kind of anxiety or frustration regarding your wealth management. Okay, so until and unless it is highly necessary, don't go into any kind of expenditure or investments as of now during this particular time. Okay, and if you are doing it, then make sure that you have checked each and everything very properly. Specifically in next 15 days you should be very careful, because Mercury will be debilitated. Okay, so that's it for the Taurus ascendant people. And yes, one more thing I will say is that Mars is your 12th lord and 7th lord, looking onto your 8th house and 9th house. So this also indicates all of a sudden there can be some sudden travels. Okay, all of a sudden some travels can be there to some far off place with respect to family trade, with respect to your business partnership or something like that. During this particular time, also make sure that you are connecting with your partner in a proper manner. Okay, that is also a concern during this particular time. So that's it for the Taurus ascendant people. For the Gemini ascendant people, Mars is transiting in your 1st house, and I will say this transit of Mars in the 1st house is a good one, because this will give you that proper energy, that confidence in order to face the reality, and that personality, that confident personality will give you not only good health but also you will be able to take your decisions properly in your day-to-day daily life. Okay, Mars is your 11th lord. Okay, for the Gemini ascendant people. So 11th lord transiting in the first house is considered good, because any matter related to your network circle, your gains, your profit, or your money management, you will be able to do it properly. You will be able to take decisions properly. Okay, so that is a good thing. Any project in which you are working along with your network circle or in a particular team, you will be able to take proper decisions, and that will not only give you success, but also it will give you the feeling that you have achieved something. Okay, so this kind of good results can be expected. One more thing is that Mars is your 6th lord for the Gemini people. Mars is your 6th lord transiting in the first house. So during this particular time, you need to also take care regarding your health, and it is a good time to take some healthy practices, like suppose proper exercises. Okay, maintaining daily self discipline, following proper routines, being more punctual, that will give you much more better results. Okay, that will not only allow you to channelize your energy, but also allow you to reduce your frustration and anxiety, because Mars is a fiery planet transiting on your first house. So if you are not following proper discipline, proper self management, that can lead to some kind of frustration and anxiety. Okay, that is one more thing. Next thing is that Mars will be aspecting your 4th house, 7th house and 8th house. So during this particular time, any matter related to your home, your domestic circuit, your partnership, your relationship, your married life has to be taken care of. Don't get into any kind of decision making out of your impulsion, which can lead to some kind of fights or arguments in your family or with your partner. Okay, this is the most important thing, because Mars in the first house will give you that confidence at the self level, because it is a good time for your self management, self development. But Mars's aspect on the 7th house and 4th house, that can lead to some kind of problems. Okay, because that can lead to some kind of conflict of interest or disputes. Okay, make sure that you don't get into those kind of things, because that will be like wastage of your energy in some thing which is not required for you. Okay, so just channelize your energy in a proper manner, and that will give you much more better results. For the Cancer ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 12th house. Now this transit has to be taken care of, because previously Mars was transiting in your 11th house. Now 11th house transit of Mars is good. Now Mars has come out of your 11th house for the Cancer ascendant people, and it has entered your 12th house. Normally the transit of Mars in the 12th house is not considered that good, because Mars is a fiery planet and 12th house is our subconscious mind. So at the subconscious level, there can be more frustration and anxiety. This can at times make you very restless. Mars is your 5th lord, is your 10th lord. Being the 5th lord means it rules over your managing ability, your management, how you manage the things, how you plan the things. It is transiting in the 12th house. So at times you may feel that whatever you are making up or whatever you are planning, it is not working out. That can lead to some kind of anxiety, and that anxiety will come out through your expression, through your social communication, because from the 12th house Mars will aspect your 3rd house of communication. So during this particular time, I will say you that more you are self-absorbed, more you are limiting your communication, that will give you much more better results. This is a good time to take some time in isolation or solitude and work on your talents, because 5th house is also about talents and Mars is your 5th lord. Okay, so any matter which you are good at but you are not getting results as of now, take some time in isolation and work on it. That will give you much more better results, because if you are keeping on planning everything together now, that will give you some kind of anxiety, because you may feel that I am working on so many things but I am not getting results. Okay, so take some time. Sometimes giving a break is also essential. Okay, because until unless you do that, what will happen, that can lead to some kind of fights or arguments, because Mars will aspect your 3rd house by its 4th aspect. Okay, so just absorb into yourself and look into it. Is a time of introspection, I will say. Okay, one more thing is that Mars is your 10th lord, transiting in the 12th house in the sign of Gemini. So what will happen, you may get chance to get into some far away place with respect to your job, but since it is the 12th house and that 12th sign, that Gemini is not a friendly sign of Mars, so initially you may not like the idea to go into that kind of place or take the transfer or get that opportunity. Okay, even if you get the opportunity, you may not like the idea. Okay, so I will say you that until and unless you are completely sure of that particular job or that opportunity or that transfer, try to avoid it until and unless it is very necessary. Okay, because the moment you go there, you take the opportunity, you may feel that it was not meant to be taken. This kind of feelings can be there. Okay, and try to avoid any kind of miscommunication between you and your boss during this particular time, means specifically your authorities regarding any prevalent health conditions. You have to be very careful regarding your health care also, because 12th house, from the 12th house Mars will aspect your 6th house also. Okay, so that's it for the Cancer ascendant people. For the Leo ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in the 11th house. Now this is a wonderful transit, I will say. For the Leo people, this transit of Mars happening in the 11th house, wonderful time, because now Mars has come out of your 10th house. It is now allowing you to reap the good results of your hard work, of your efforts. 11th house is basically the house of fulfillment of our desires, and Mars transiting in the 11th house normally gives very good results. This will not only improve your social communication, but also it will make you a team man, to work in a team, to work in a project. Like suppose if you are heading a project, or suppose if you are working in a project under some manager or someone, you will see that your ideas are getting recognized, your work is getting means I will say it is appreciated or acknowledged. Okay, this is not only going to give you good results, but also suppose if you are expecting some good news regarding your work, regarding your personal life, this Mars transit is going to give you, it is going to give you very good results regarding that. And one more thing, since Mars is a masculine planet, okay, and it is transiting in the 11th house, it is looking onto your 5th house. Okay, so if you are expecting child, then this particular transit of Mars also leads to the birth of a child. Okay, it will depend on other factors also, but this transit of Mars will give you good results regarding to that. One more thing ahead is that Mars for the Leo ascendant people is a very good planet. Basically it is the 9th lord, it is the 4th lord transiting in the 11th house. So this is also a time when you can start construction of your house, or you can purchase some landed property, or you can have some gains through landed property, or suppose if you are associated with real estate or construction business, then also you are going to get some good results, and you will see that your fortune is supporting you. Okay, so by various ways this particular transit of Mars is going to give you good results. Only make sure that you say certain things through proper logic, through proper wisdom, because Mars will aspect your 2nd house. So make sure that you say certain things by thinking, not by your impulsion. Okay, and expenditures has to be taken care, because Mars's aspect on the 2nd house, normally what happens, out of impulsion you may get into some kind of expenditure. Until and unless it is required, try to avoid it. Okay, that's it for the Leo ascendant people. For the Virgo ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 10th house. Now this transit has to be taken care of, because normally the transit of Mars in the 10th house gives us energy, makes us very energetic, very passionate towards our work. But during that particular time, it also leads to some kind of disagreements between our own ideology and the firm where we are working. Okay, so this kind of conflicts can be there. During this particular time, it can make you very competitive. So just follow your work, just focus on your work, don't get into unnecessary competition, don't get into unnecessary disputes with your co-workers, with your colleagues. Okay, that particular thing you need to be careful. Since it is the sign of Gemini, don't get into unnecessary arguments with your office colleagues or with your superiors or authorities. Means just try to follow your work, because that can unnecessarily to lead to some kind of anxiety or frustration, because Mars will aspect your first house. So what will happen, it will at times it can make you very hot headed. Okay, means you will feel that why the work is not getting done, I'm trying my best and why the things are not happening. So this can lead to this kind of things can happen. So try to maintain that proper decorum, channelize your energy in proper way. One practical remedy here is that just make a proper homework a day before, that what are you going to do next day. Just try to focus on that particular work, and the moment your work is finished, you should be happy that your things are done. Don't overdo into anything. Why I say overdo? Because Mars will aspect your 4th house. The moment you try to put your energy over and over, you will feel that you are not getting that mental peace or happiness, or you are not getting proper rest. That kind of feelings can be there. Okay, so make sure that you bring a proper balance between your own life, means your family life and your work life. That is the thing. Okay, for the Libra ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 9th house. Now Mars has come out of your 8th house, which is a very good thing, because last so many months Mars was transiting in your 8th house, and now Mars has finally come out of your 8th house and it is transiting now in your 9th house, which is actually a good thing. Okay, this indicates that you will be able to work on certain creative things which you like the most, because Mars will aspect your 3rd house. Okay, so this is a time to start a new work, a new hobby. This will also improve your communication. Only one more thing, that don't get into any kind of unnecessary arguments or fights between the people of your social daily contact, and also with your father or elder of your family. Specifically when you are connecting with your guru, you should be very careful that you should connect with him or her, with your guru, in a more obliged manner. Okay, don't get into any kind of that impulsive behavior, because this Mars can at times make you, because Gemini is the sign of communication basically. Okay, means how you put our thought process into reality. So this is a time when you can take up new ideas, learn new ideas from your elders, from your father, from your guru. Okay, there can be some travels, where you will be able to learn new thing, and also take that idea into your creativity, in your work, in your hobbies. That will give you much more better results. Okay, so that's it for the Libra ascendant people. Yes, one more thing I will add here is that 9th house is also the house of our belief system, our higher spiritual knowledge, and Mars is that fiery soldier. Okay, so at times it can make you very adamant and stubborn regarding your own belief system. So don't force your belief system into on others. Yes, definitely we can work on ourselves, we can learn new things, we can take up new ideas, we can work on the things very logically, very intellectually. Basically it is an intellectual sign, Gemini. Okay, so don't force the ideas, rather you can spread the things in a proper manner. Okay, just don't force on it, because at times it can make you very adamant regarding your belief system, that this is correct and this is not correct. Okay, don't do that. Okay, because everyone has their own thinking process. Yes, definitely you can spread the ideas intellectually. Okay, and you can also gain new things, gain new ideas. In that way, that will give you much more better results. Okay, for the Scorpio ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 8th house. Now Mars is your Lagna Lord, Mars is your ascendant Lord, transiting in the 8th house. Now this transit has to be taken care of a bit nicely, because first of all, the transit of Mars in the 8th house is not considered that great, and Mars is your ascendant Lord, transiting in the 8th house. So there, one more thing, the most important thing actually, that take care regarding the health. This is a time when you should be very careful regarding your health. Okay, at times you may feel that, because since Mars is the planet related to energy, efforts and actions, and 8th house is the house of transformation, suddenness. Okay, you have to be very careful regarding your efforts, you have to be very precise regarding your actions. Means what you are thinking and what you are doing, you should be very careful regarding that. You should not get into any kind of thing which is not meant for you. You should not do anything, or you should not say anything which you should not say. Okay, because that kind of channelization of energy is highly required during this transit of Mars in the 8th house. Mars will be aspecting your 2nd house. Okay, so during this particular time you need to be very careful regarding how you are managing your wealth and finances. Don't get into any kind of expenditures which are not meant to be done, because what I can see that expenditures is seen. Okay, so be very wise before you get into that kind of expenditures. Okay, yes, one more thing, Mars will be aspecting your 11th house also. So all of a sudden you may get some earnings, you may get some gains and profit. All of a sudden means secretly you may get it. Okay, means it will be like a surprise to you. Okay, Mars will be aspecting from the 8th house to the 3rd house. So I will say you that during this particular time try to avoid any short travels. Okay, and take care regarding your health, that is very essential. And any matter related to your family, any matter related to your in-laws, you need to be very careful, specifically regarding joint asset or fixed asset. Any decisions if you are making right now, I will say that take some time, work on it. Until and unless it is required, don't do it. Okay, that is the most important thing I will say for the Scorpio ascendant people. And take care regarding your health. For the Sagittarius ascendant, this transit of Mars is happening in the 7th house. Now this transit has to be taken care of, because normally the transit of Mars in the 7th house, I will say it is not so great transit, because in the 7th house what happens, it disturbs our relationships, our partnership. It creates that conflicts between us and our partner. Okay, now that can be your business partnership, that can be your trade contracts, your relationship between you and your partner. It can be your relationship partner, or it can be your marriage partner. Okay, because Mars is a planet which does not likes negotiation. Okay, it does not likes negotiation. It is like what I like, what I feel, that will be the thing that should happen. So this kind of feelings will be there. So I will say that this is a time when you should also give equal importance to the opinion of your partner. More you give equal importance to the opinion of your partner, that will give you much more better results. Okay, try to avoid any kind of unnecessary disputes or fights. One practical remedy is that sometimes if we get into some kind of common opinion, or suppose sometimes we get into some kind of negotiations which can be better for you and your partner both, then we should not hesitate into it. Okay, because what Mars does, Mars is like it's my way or the highway type. Okay, so that will disturb the relationship. But if you give equal importance and respect to the opinion of your partner, that will give you much more better results. And during this particular time try to avoid any kind of unnecessary expenditures, because Mars will aspect your 1st house and your 2nd house also. Yes, this Mars will give you that energy at your work life, because Mars will aspect your 10th house. Okay, at times it can give you that energy, but try to avoid any kind of unnecessary competitive that behavior with your colleagues and co-workers, and try to follow the orders given to you by your superiors or authorities. That will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Sagittarius ascendant people. For the Capricorn ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in the 6th house, and normally the transit of Mars in the 6th house is considered very good. Okay, now this transit will not only give you the proper energy and motivation, enthusiasm in your day-to-day life, but also give you success while you are facing your challenges, while you are facing your competition. This will give you victory over your opponents. Okay, and you will see that in your day-to-day life, whatever work you are starting, it is leading to completion, it is leading to success. So at your job life, at your service life, at your day-to-day life, you will find better results in the upcoming days during this transit of Mars happening in the 6th house. Now Mars happens to be your 4th lord also for the Capricorn ascendant people. So this is also an indication that you have to take proper care of your mother, take enough responsibility and make sure that everything at your home, at your domestic front is correct, is perfect. Okay, so during that particular thing also you have to be very careful regarding all those things. Okay, so these are the primary things. Now one more thing I will say here is that Mars is aspecting your 12th house and 1st house. Now suppose in case of any prevalent health conditions is going on or something related to health is going on, then you should be careful. You should be extra careful regarding your health. Okay, because Mars is aspecting your 12th house and 1st house. So at times it can take the health conditions to some level. Okay, so I will say you that if any health condition is prevalent or going on, then you should be more careful during this particular transit. And yes, suppose while you are driving or while you are getting into some kind of sports or adventure activity, you should be a bit careful, because 6th house is also the house of injuries, accidents. Okay, and Mars is a fiery planet, so in that particular thing you need to be careful. Otherwise this particular transit of Mars is going to give you much more better results. For the Aquarius ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 5th house. Now normally the transit of Mars in the 5th house, I will say it's a okay transit, average transit. Okay, because what happens that Mars here allows us to take up responsibility regarding our creativity, creative skill sets. But why I say it average, because whenever Mars will transit in our 5th house also deals with our ego. Okay, apart from 1st house, 5th house also deals with our ego. Okay, so here Mars can at times make us more towards our own self. Okay, more egoistic at times. So regarding that you need to be careful. Means how you are implementing your own ideas, how you are putting your own thoughts in front of the people, that has to be taken care of. Okay, now Mars is your 3rd lord, Mars is your 10th lord, transiting in the 5th house. Now 3rd lord transiting in the 5th house is a good thing, because you will be able to put your efforts into your creative self-expression, your creative talents into your creative self-expression. Now you will be able to put that energy and start something new. Or suppose if you are working already, in that particular case also this transit of Mars is going to give you good results. Like suppose anything which you are good at, not necessarily that it has to be one particular thing, you can be good at many things. Okay, so this Martian energy will allow you to work on those things. Like suppose someone is a very good writer. Okay, because 3rd house is also about writing and Gemini sign is also about writing. Okay, so suppose if you are a very good writer, then this particular Mars will allow you to create or construct some masterpiece. Okay, so this way this Mars is going to give you very good results. And most important part here is that Mars is also a 10th lord transiting in the 5th house. So this is also a time which also indicates that change in profession or change in career. Suppose if you are thinking to change your profession or change your job, this is a good time when you will be able to change that, or you may get some good opportunity at your work front. Suppose if you are thinking, or suppose if you are working in one particular arena or in particular one particular genre, then this transit of Mars in the 5th house will allow you to get connect with another thing, another work opportunity or income opportunity, because this Mars will look onto your 11th house. Means apart from the work which you are doing, this Mars will give you the opportunity to work on another particular thing, multiple things. Okay, means either there can be change or there can be one more new work starting, new business opportunity can be there, or some different kind of projects can be there. Okay, and you may get gains through it. So that's it for the Aquarius ascendant people. Now let us talk about the Pisces ascendant people. For the Pisces ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 4th house, and normally the transit of Mars happening in the fourth house is not considered that great, because fourth house is basically the house of happiness, our internal peace of mind, mental security, the place where we feel happy. And Mars is that fiery soldier. Okay, Mars likes to get into that battlefield, get the victory, okay, win the war for the king. Okay, that is what Mars is. So Mars's transit in the fourth house is normally not considered that great, because this indicates that some kind of disputes or some kind of fights or arguments. And since it is the sign of Gemini, so I will say during this particular time, don't get into any kind of arguments or fights with your in your domestic front, with any family member with whom you are living, okay, in your same home and house. Okay, this is the most important thing. Secondly is that fourth house is also the house of our mental peace and happiness, and Mars is the energy. Okay, so you have to channelize your energy in your home environment. So suppose if you are doing some physical exercises, or if you are decorating your house, or you are renovating your house, or you are doing some gardening, or you are making up something in your house, means you are helping, you are channelizing your Martian energy for the household work. If you are doing it, that is going to give you much more better results, because in that way you are actually channelizing the Martian energy in some right path. Okay, because fourth house, since it is the house of our mental peace, the Martian fiery energy can at times lead to anxiety. Okay, so try to avoid that dispute and channelize your energy into some good things. That will give you much more better results. Important part here is that Mars will be aspecting your 10th house and your 7th house. So more you are channelizing your energy in a right path, more it will give you good bonding with your partner, and also at your workplace, because ultimately our peace of mind, that clarity in our mind is essential. So if we are disturbed from within, that can lead to some kind of disputes between you and your partner. Okay, these are the things you need to be very careful. And when you, at your workplace also, when you are working, try to avoid any kind of conflicts, or try to avoid any kind of unnecessary competitive mindset between you and your co-worker. Just follow your work. Okay, that will give you much more better results. And try to avoid any kind of conflict between you and your superiors. Okay, because Mars will be just opposite to your 10th house in the 4th house. Okay, so this can lead to some kind of opposition between your mindset and your mindset of your authorities or superiors. In that way, you need to follow the proper channelization of energy, and that will give you much more better results. Now for the Pisces ascendant people, Mars is also your 9th lord. Now 9th lord transiting in the 4th house, so this is also an indication that this is a time when you can start construction of your house, or suppose if you are thinking to purchase a new landed property, that is also a possibility. By this transit of Mars can give you much more better results. If you are thinking of that, then this particular transit of Mars is going to give you much more better results. So that's it for the Pisces ascendant people. And as I have talked about all the 12 ascendant signs, if you have liked this video, press the like button, share to your near and dear ones. And if you are new to this channel, tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video, you get notified instantly. So next time when I come back, I will be coming back with some another interesting video. And if you want a consultation from me, check the links in the description section, and you can mail me through my email ID. You will get the email ID back and down in the description section, or you can also get connected with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. So till then, when I come back again, I'm signing off for today. Thanking you. Bye bye.